Hi, how you doing? I'm Sarah. On this After Dark Hangout session, we're looking into the Dodleston Computer mystery. Could some unknown force really have been able to set up a time-traveling chat room? It's 1984. Ken is working on renovating his cottage in Dodleston, England. Renovations are always really stressful, but luckily he had his girlfriend, Debbie, to help him fix everything up. Ken was a teacher and life was pretty normal until they started renovating. They would wake up to find Pepsi bottles, food boxes, and cans stacked up in a tower in their kitchen. The best part of waking up is Folgers stacked in a tower along with cat food and other various items. The kitchen Jenga situation escalated into stacking larger pieces of furniture. They were thinking someone was breaking into their house and doing all this weird stuff. Robbers will steal your things, but the type of person that breaks in and stacks towers, that's not someone you can negotiate with. That's a crazy person. I think I'd call them the sneaky stacker, or maybe the anchovy architect. Ken had borrowed this BBC computer from work. While visiting with friends, they accidentally left it on, and when they returned, they found a file that wasn't there before, and it was labeled KDN. Ken, Debbie, and Nikki. Nikki was this guest that was also staying with them. They open this file. I'll read you what it says. Ken, Deb, Nick. True are the nightmares of a person that fears. Safe are the bodies of the silent world. Turn pretty flowers towards the sun, for ye shall grow and sow. But the flower reaches too high and withers in the burning light. Get out your bricks. Pussycat, pussycat, went to London to seek fame and fortune. Faith must not be lost, for this shall be your redeemer. Ken and Deb start to hear noises at night, but when they go to investigate, they can't find out how anyone's getting into the home. Yet again, more messages are left on this computer, like this one. I write on behalf of many. What strange words thou speak? Though I must confess, though I have been ill-schooled, sometimes methinks alterations are somewhat powerful, for they break many a sleeps in mine bed. Though you're a goodly man, who hath fanciful woman, I hath seen many alterations. Your home is a fitting place, with light that the devil maketh, and costly things that only the king himself can afford. A teacher that works with Ken Computer decides to look into the Old English script and finds that most of the words are from the 16th century, aka the 1500s. Ken types back apologizing for all the renovations. He wants to know if the writer lives in Dodleston and who the king is at the time. And he also thanks the stranger for not making them afraid. Do the English not get scared? Between these exchanges, they find out that Lucas is his name and he lives in 1521. He owns pigs. He wants to know if they own a horse. You know, the typical 1500s gossip. And Henry VIII is king. Lucas assures that he has no idea what's going on. He's in the same boat as Ken and Deb. He lets on that he can see them using their, what he calls a light box. So cute. He also lets them know that the people in his village are starting to get suspicious. They think there's a few less knights at the round table, if you know what I mean. Through all these multiple exchanges, Lucas then lets on he's been lying, testing them. He's been sprinkling in information that's inaccurate about his life, which really mess up Deb and Ken's search to find out whether it was an actual person from the past or not. Lucas, the middle-aged guy, the guy from 1521, thinks they're hoaxing him, which doesn't make any sense. Like, just because someone's from the future, you don't just assume that they're omnipotent. This is when they learn how Lucas communicates. He has a device that when he speaks, words come up on a screen and automatically somehow transfer this message through time. How did that get there? We'll get there. Debbie starts to have dreams. She's in the kitchen. She sees Lucas. The maid's there, and Lucas tries to introduce the maid to Debbie. The maid doesn't see Debbie. All the maid sees is this crazy guy that does not pay her enough to sweep up dirt floors or whatever they had in the Middle Ages. That's all they had in the 1500s was gossip. Sure enough, word got out that Lucas was communing with the devil. Ken and Deb find out through a new messenger Lucas has been locked up. Some people can see the light box, but it's in a fixed position, so they can't move it around. So whatever's over there back in time, it's like a fixed phenomena. The sheriff gets on the scene and is convinced that Ken and Deb are demons. Ken and Deb play along with the sheriff. They say that even though they are not demons, they have the power of demons. If the sheriff doesn't let Lucas out, they're gonna damn his soul to hell. Smart people in the Middle Ages are, what's the word? Paranoid? Now the village is completely against Lucas. But Lucas is very grateful. He admits his real name is Thomas. We've been calling him Lucas this whole time, and he has that name forever now. It's like in high school, you can't go by Cheeseball for 3 years and then switch back to Adam. He goes on to write, "You said your people's time is 1985. I thought you were also from 2109, like your friend who brought the box of lights to me." He later goes on to mention a green man came from a green light. You might want to have mentioned the crazy green man bringing you the box of lights. So Lucas, he's also getting messages from this other group, 2109. I'm not sure if that's a year or a group name. They just call themselves 2109, so we just assume that that's the year they're from. Ken and Deb, along with their sidekick Peter, the other teacher, reach out to 2109. So they type in, calling 2109. They go for a walk, they come back. There's the message from 2109. Ken, Deb, Peter, we are sorry that we can give you only 2 choices. 1, you either have your predicament explained in a way that may have instant understanding. But will cause what should not be to happen. Number 2, try to understand that you 3 have a purpose that in your lifetime will change the face of history. We 2109 must not affect your thoughts directly, but give some guidance that will allow room for your own destiny. All we can say is that we are all part of the same God, whatever he or it is. Option number 1, who's gonna be the loser that chooses to follow their destiny? Ken flips out. He doesn't believe any of this nonsense, and I don't blame him. It sounds more like trickster phenomena to me, like a weird updated version of a Ouija board maybe. Some more phrases come from the computer accusing Peter of being sneaky. Peter has figured out Thomas's full name, the university he's gone to, and information confirming Lucas, aka Thomas, was a real person. 2109 starts blocking Lucas and Ken and Deb's messages from each other. What they do, they start using pen, chalk, and paper to communicate to Lucas. They would write something out in chalk and then they would receive a message back. When 2109 finds this out, they freak out. They're just like, oh my God, what are you doing? Stop. You're going to ruin the time continuum. They're saying that Lucas 2 is running around the house and they can no longer communicate with Lucas 1, but they still have to communicate with Lucas 2. There's 2 Lucases running around messing up the time stream and they've got to worry about fixing it. That sounds like a personal problem to me. I would just keep on talking to them. We'll see what happens. 2109 talks about why they're experiencing poltergeist activity, like the stacking of the cans. They explain there's a surplus of kinetic energy that's released. Go on to describe a tulpa, so like a thought form you create with your own mind. So at this point, they start sleeping at Deb's place. They're freaking the hell out. But 2109, they want Debbie to go to sleep in the house at night alone. So she does, like a psycho. Not me. No. They want to continue conducting these weird experiments. Another entity enters the computer and it asks what everyone wants to hear. What are you scared of, Ken, Deb, Peter? That's like the one line that you really don't want to see anywhere. This new group goes on to explain how time travel is possible. You can't time travel with matter, but you can time travel with consciousness. So these guys also say Lucas, he doesn't know quite who he is, and he's connected to this guy that brought him the light box, and that John, the light box guy, and Lucas are connected somehow in the Tachyon universe. A weird message comes in reprimanding 2109 for conducting experiments that maybe they shouldn't be conducting. It's this weird group chat. I don't think I need to be CC'd on this email. One group in the chat starts letting Ken know that he can't trust anyone else in the group. He can't trust Lucas. He can't trust 2109. Like, don't trust anybody. One message leads them to dial a phone number. This phone number goes to a ufologist called, I think his name is Gary Rowe. He's been doing some sort of experience or research on his own that has to do with 2109, where he will give Ken a sealed envelope and then Ken will put it on the computer and then bring it back to him. Sometimes there's even objects in the envelopes that just magically appear in these envelopes. Lucas does let him know that he's leaving town because his village is against him now, which it's his own fault. He kind of forced their medieval hand into it, if you know what I mean. Lucas suggests they should both write books and that one day that they will eat by the river, or you know how people from the 1500s are. They like to add poetry to their goodbyes. The final message from 2109 says, "True are the nightmares of those that fear. What you fear will be your reality if you let it. Believe in yourselves. Safe are for the bodies of the silent world. As long as your kind cannot penetrate our world, we are safe. Turn pretty flowers towards the sun, for ye shall grow and sow, but the flower reaches too high and withers in the burning light. Get out your bricks. Pussycat, pussycat went to London to seek fame and fortune. Faith must not be lost, for this shall be your redeemer. I want to know what you would do. Let's say you're in the middle of a forest, you don't have Wi-Fi, bring your laptop to write or something, and you start receiving messages. Right below in the comments, tell me what you would do if that happened. I'd throw my laptop in the river. That is the story of the Dodleston Computer. I have a lot more questions than answers. Like and subscribe if you want to join me for more hangout sessions of stories after dark. I'm Sarah. Bye.